What's up, guys? 8 here with my boy Lyle. What you do?
I went 5-1 for second place of the case tournament, and then 4-1 for locals tonight.
So like 9 and 2.
9 and 2
with this deck.
Dinomorphia.
You got any shout outs or anything before we go into it?
Not really, no.
Right.
Check out my Instagram, First Rate Duelist. Easy.
Hell yeah. Send me a link too, and I'll put it in the description.
Will do.
Let's get right into this sauce.
So it's 12 monsters in the main deck. You're a trap deck. So it's 3 Threesia.
This card's insane.
This card's crazy. On normal or special summon, you set a Dinomorphia trap from your deck. Then, if your life points are 2,000 or less, she gains 500 attack.
Oh, I always forget about that part.
Yeah.
That's nice.
That's not a continuous effect, so like you gotta remember it. And then if she's destroyed by battle card effect, you banish a trap, summon a different level 4 Dinomorphia monster from your grave.
So Diplo, basically.
Diplos. Yeah. This guy on summon, Foolish Burial's a Dinomorphia card, and then, excuse me, if your life points are whatever, he burns them.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wait, what do you mean he burns them? Does 500 do it?
Does 500, yeah.
Oh, cool. And what do you usually dump off this? Is it mainly just Threesia?
If I don't have access to Threesia, I usually send Threesia. But sometimes your Cantrogena can copy the cards affecting grave. So you can just, like, if you have access to a domain but not a frenzy, you can send the frenzy.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
And then Cantrogena can copy it.
Hey, I like that actually. That's cool.
That's it for the Dinomorphia monsters. And then I played 3 Ash. And 3 Lord of the Heavenly Prison.
How are you today?
Ash was good. There's a card in my side deck that like I summon with this card, but otherwise it's just Ash. It's the best hand trap. And Lord of the Heavenly Prison's crazy.
I like that card in theory. It seems pretty versatile too.
Because you get blown out by like the back row removal cards, right?
And Guardian, Chimera, stuff like that.
Yeah. And he's huge. This card's massive.
Also can get you to engine and like can get you crazy traps.
Yeah, and there's a lot of like skillful decisions you can make because a lot of times like you think you're like I should just summon him, right? I get my free card, but then they can kill your back row, right?
Yeah.
So you got to like think about when you want to summon it.
When do you want to give up vulnerability and what do you want to give it up for?
Exactly. Yeah, the card's crazy. So 12 monsters.
Do you miss anything in the monster lineup? Would you play anything like Lilith?
No, I just want to I want to summon these.
And no other hand traps?
No other hand traps. Because your other cards are much more impactful.
That's fair.
You just play like board breaker traps. Mm-hmm. And then 3 spells. Just 3 fossil dig.
And 3 more of the monster.
Yep. Some people play like Oviraptor and Conductor and stuff.
Oh, that's kind of goofy.
And like, I would love to play Conductor, but that card's terrible in this deck.
Yeah.
3 fossil dig.
And we were talking before locals, like, would you consider trying the pot cards?
The pots are fine. I think like, yeah, I don't hate it. I would just trim some numbers of other things. I have a couple cards in the main that might come out for pots, but everything right now I've really been enjoying.
And extra you just can't play in this deck,
I cannot
right?
play extra, yeah. If I hit my Rex turns or whatever, I lose. So 3 spells. And then the Dinomorphia traps. I play 3 Frenzy.
You have to.
Yeah, you fuse 1 from main, 1 from extra, and then when your opponent activates an effect, if this card's in your grave, you banish it, you don't take effect damage. 3 domain, 2 from any combination of hand, grave, or hand, deck, or field.
After we talked about the interaction pre-locals, did it come up today?
It did once, yes.
Hell yeah.
I made a Cantrogena and then copied this effect and used the Cantrogena to make a Rex turn. It was great. It was crazy. And then 2 Dinomorphia Brute. This card says pay half your life, and that's the cost. And then you destroy a Dinomorphia monster you control, and then 1 card your opponent controls, non-targeting. And then all of the non-counter traps have the graveyard protect from spell effect damage.
I like this card a lot because you also, the big guys float, so like you get to pop, go into Threesia, set another card.
Another thing.
You could set like a Frenzy and just kill them on the next turn.
Yeah. Well, you can't activate Frenzy on your turn. Frenzy says during your opponent's main
Oh,
phase.
really?
So yeah.
Oh, learn something new every day.
Yeah.
Sheesh.
And then at the case tournament, this is like the one main deck change I made. I played 1 Dinomorphia Reversion. If you control a Dinomorphia Fusion, pay half, copy the effect of a counter trap in your grave.
And was it in place of one of these? Or?
No, it became a Dinomorphia alert. I forgot this card existed. And I was like, oh, like the games that I lost because I ran out of guys.
Yeah.
So this is me, guys.
Yeah, that card's just a free rank 4.
Yeah, that just became this. And this card wasn't, I'm sure it's fine, but it wasn't as good as I wanted it to be.
The thing that I kind of hate about this, if you open it, it's kind of dead. Because you have to like resolve a counter trap and then copy that, and that's just kind of like asking for a lot, I feel like.
Yeah, and then I played 2 Dinomorphia Sonic. It's a counter trap for a spell or trap as long as you control a Dinomorphia monster, and then you kill that monster so they float again.
Did you like this and Brute it too?
I loved it. Brute was crazy tonight. I got Mystic Mind, kill the Mystic Mind.
That's kind of nice, yeah.
Yeah.
You have main deck engine removal.
Exactly, yeah, it was great. And then the counter traps have the effect of when you would take battle damage once per turn, you can banish it.
Stay alive, which is very important when you're at 30 health or something.
Yeah, I ended a couple games at 142. One game I ended at 125, and another game at 204. Yeah, it was crazy.
This deck's so odd.
Yeah, and then you play a bunch of Floodgates. So I played 3 Gozen. All your monsters are dark.
How do you feel about this card?
I think it's crazy. It always performs because like all the Brave decks, except for specifically like the Brave Therian Punk or whatever, like they have a lot of Earths. But like whenever they go like activate the right, summon the Earth guy, then they like search the Griffin. You're like, yeah, do this.
Yeah,
like,
and then they can't Griffin
then they can't
you.
summon it.
And even if they Punk, what are they making? They gotta make like an Earth.
Yeah. And then I played 2 Rivalry. This card it underperformed.
Would you not want 3 of this? Because against those decks, doesn't it do the same thing? But then it's also good against Despia.
Yeah, but this isn't as Gozen does the same thing against Despia because they make Lubellion first, and he's
you
dark.
Lock him into,
or he's
light. Yeah.
Yeah, light.
He takes a dark, but he is a light.
He's light. It did the same thing in theory. This card's also really like it's good sometimes. This actually came up at the case tournament. My opponent normal summoned Rabina. She's water. And then I chained this, and then the game was over. This card's less good. There's a lot of Flunder in our area. This card's terrible against that deck.
Yeah.
But against everything else, like, it's fine. And then Skill Drain. Cantrogena goes to 4,000. They're not killing my monsters. So 8 Floodgates in the main. Plus, I guess, the Rexterms.
Yeah.
And then
8 Floodgates plus an engine of Floodgates.
Yeah. And then I guess I have 6 counter traps. 3 strikes. 3 judgments. I need to pay my life points. It came up today. I made a crazy play against a guy. So I was at 2,000 life points. I had 2 strikes set. So I used one of my traps to make Cantrogena, and then used Cantrogena to pay down to 1,000. So I can't activate either of them. But Cantrogena made Stealth Bergia, which says I don't have to pay for traps. So I got to turn both of these back on.
We talked about that hadn't came up for you yet before locals, and then it did. That's kind of goofy.
And the craziest thing was, I'll tell you about when we get to the side. 3 strikes, 3 judgments. 40 in the main.
And that's the whole deck?
That's the whole main deck, yeah. You want side or extra first?
Extra, probably.
Extra
will be kind of quick in this
Yeah,
kind of
extra
deck.
will be pretty quick. So it's 3 Cantrogena, 4K attack, loses attack equal to your life total. Once per turn during the main phase, quick effect, pay half my life, copy the effect of a normal Dinomorphia.
Does that copy the condition as well? So, like, can I use that to use Frenzy or no?
Because it still can only be activated during main phase. During your opponent's main phase. I double-checked because it came up. Then 2 Stealth Berg. Yeah, this should probably just be 3.
Did you miss a third at all?
No, because my games didn't last long enough. But I wouldn't mind a third.
For a trap deck, this deck can kill kind of quick. Because if it's like playing the game, you're putting big-ass motherfuckers.
Yeah. And then 3 Rexterm. This card's insane. It's like a pseudo VFD.
Yeah, this card's really cool too, because I feel like all the trap decks we've gotten before don't have like a lot of Floodgate monsters.
Right.
Like having a Floodgate monster is cool, because then they have to like have extra layers of interaction.
Right. So it's 8 fusions. We play 1 Synchro. We play Psychic and Punisher.
Just in case you normal Ash.
He's huge. I normal summoned a Bell tonight. And I used that in my Rexterm. Because my opponent summoned, what's Bird Towers' name? Raid Raptor, Apex, whatever.
I don't know.
You don't talk about the Raid Raptor Towers. I got Waking the Dragons. Ultimate Falcon.
Yeah.
And he's 35, so I can't out him with this. So I normal summoned Bell, did this, went to battle phase. He gained 5,000 something attack, and I killed it. So 1 Synchro.
It's kind of cool actually to out degen cards like that.
Yeah. Then 4 Xyz, 1 Abyss Dweller, 1 Dolka, 1 Logia, 1 Zeus.
How often did any of these come up?
These I make pretty frequently. Because I added the alert tonight, I'm able to make these pretty frequently. Because I just use the alert on their turn, and then I make
them back on
your
end phase, overlay on yours.
Yeah. I haven't made Zeus yet. It's good in theory.
What do you make more, Dolka or Logia?
Logia. Because
Just
I have
protect
strikes
background
and stuff.
Yeah.
And then I have 2 Xyz, or Lynx rather. I play 1 Dark the Dark Charmer, and 1 Nightmare Phoenix. This card tonight, I played against Dragoon Turbo.
I overheard you say you took a Dragoon.
I took a Dragoon, but the crazy thing was he activated set rotation, and he gave me a Secret Village and himself a Mystic Mine, and I got us both down to 1 monster and summoned his Dragoon back so he couldn't activate spells. This is also a spellcaster.
That's insane.
It was
actually.
crazy.
That's really dirty.
And this is to out their camp. Sometimes, like, you're able to get, if you, like, summon a hand trap or the rock, you can make this and then pop their
That's kind of cool. Summon Dwayne.
Yeah. So 15 and extra. And then 15 inside. It's like all cards for going second. Because if you go first,
you're probably winning, yeah. And you already main additional cards that stop. You played the 3 Judgment and the 3 Lord to stop removal.
Yeah. So it's 3 DD Crow. This card's like mandatory right now.
Would you play the foolish return over it or not?
It's not bad, but this lets me do it going second as well. Like on against other decks. Yeah. And then 3 Droll. Excuse me. 3 Bell. 3 Nibiru. And then my favorite card on the side, 3 Eradicator Epidemic Virus. This has been like a staple card of mine for forever. I play it every chance I get. So you tribute a dark with 2,500 or more attack. You declare spells or traps. You rip all of them that they have, and then for the next 3 turns, any that they draw.
That's insane in something like the Mirror Match or like an Eldritch matchup, like all
Striker
trap
seeing play again.
Oh yeah.
The crazy thing tonight was I've been doing it is you reveal Lord on once you side this card in. And then
on their turn, you get to like set that.
You proc Lord, right? Summon it, set this, and then on your turn you flip it because he's a dark monster with 3,000 attack. So it's just like it searches it and sets it up itself.
I think that line's really cool.
And it's been overperforming.
Were the hand traps good?
Bell was good because what did I play against? I played Hero round 1, and it hits Miracle Fusion. Round 2, I played against Exosister, which like that deck was spooky.
I want to learn that deck. It seems like it could be good with like one more wave of support.
Yeah. Round 3, I played against was my loss. It was like Brave Punk pile. I lost the die roll, and then game 2 I drew 4 monsters. It is what it is.
Gotta love it.
Round 4, I played against Dragoon Turbo. Round 5, I played against Sword Soul. So, like, everything was pretty good. Nib might just come out because by the time any real deck summons 5 times,
they probably have
a negate. So, like, this could come out for, like, Twins or Storms or, like, whatever.
If you put in back removal, I'd probably play at least 1 Harpy's Feather Duster since you can set that off the Lord, too.
I could probably do that. Yeah, I don't hate that. But yeah, tonight I North Summon the Bell. Like, that was crazy. DD Crow I didn't see at all tonight.
It's just weird seeing so many hand traps in a back row deck. It's not like normal.
Because I just don't play them. Cool. Yeah, I don't play them. I play I have the 3 Ash in the main. But yeah, the deck super performed in the last 2 times I played it. I've really been enjoying it. I like dinosaur cards. So like I get to play like an ignorant, dinosaur deck.
I like trap cards, so I like
playing
it.
Plays 25 traps in the main. Like,
do you have any other thoughts or anything on the deck?
I think the deck's like really cool. Sometimes it is just like a Floodgate deck where you're like, aha, I flipped skill drain, right? Like, look how good I am.
Yeah, except you can kill him fast,
but there's so many games. Like every game I won tonight, I was below 500 life points.
You're always on the edge. That's what Eric liked about it. It's like you're killing yourself and you're like teasing them. Like, can you kill me? Like, can you hit me one time?
Yeah, because if you don't, like I'm dead to Ukazi, right? Like I'm dead to Cowboy, right? Sparks would have killed me 2 games tonight. Right? You're just like you walk that fine line. It's crazy. I absolutely love it. My life total doesn't matter as long as theirs hits 0.
Yeah.
And like that's always been my like theory with that kind of stuff. Like when I played Magic, as long as I have 1.
Yeah, you're still in there. You're still there.
Yeah.
And this deck is cool because you can literally get to 1.
You could literally get to 1. Yeah.
In this game, can you divide 1 by 2 or no?
I don't know. I would assume no, since you cannot successfully pay the life.
Yeah.
But you should check with your judge.
And one last question. What do you feel like the good and bad matchups are in the meta for this deck?
I think if you win the die roll, you don't have a single bad matchup. I genuinely do. As long as you don't draw 5 monsters, I think you're favored in every matchup. There's some builds ran around before we got Frenzy that played like Ferret Flames and stuff, which like that was really cool. And I wanted to play Torrential. I think like it's just like Dragoon is real tough. But luckily that card's not in the format.
Yeah.
Outside of locals. Fluanderies is like free. typically, if you win the die roll, like you win the game. Like last week when I played, my opponent summoned an Empen in attack position, like that's how you summon it. And I had a Rexterm, and he attacks with Empen. I was like, that's fine. He goes, move to damage. I was like, yeah. And he tried to activate Empen, but Empen
like,
had
no.
lifetime.
Yeah.
I was like, oh.
Usually people don't read Empen and they lose to it, not the other way around.
Right. But I think the deck's crazy. I really enjoy it. And there's like a lot of cool lines that you can make, right? Where it's like, do I want to, like tonight I resolved the alert card, right? The trap that someone's 2 back at the end of my opponent's turn, and then made the dark to take the Dragoon, right? It's like stuff like that. Or it's like, do I make that or do I make the DXCs? Do I, whatever. The deck's super cool. I like it a lot. And it's like, if you play min rarity, it's pretty budget friendly.
Yeah.
What, Lords are like 25 or 30 or something?
Yeah, and then Ash. Like, that's just a couple staples.
But that's the cost of playing, everybody has Ash at this point. Yeah. Not everybody, we're unfortunate.
But if you don't, there's a place you can start with this deck, 'cause that's the only expensive card, really, and skill drain, stuff like that.
The are like 15. But everything's like pretty cheap otherwise. I've really been enjoying it. I think it's worth testing out online. Test it online before you decide you want to buy the cards.
Not just buy it, best deck.
Every deck. Do that with every deck. Because you know how bad you're going to feel if you dump $200 into a deck and you're like, all this deck's piss, right? Like.
Well, any final thoughts or anything?
I think it's really cool. I like the deck a lot. I think I would probably, going forward, cut the rivalries. We were talking about putting something in earlier.
Pots? Was it pots? Or was it something else?
Pots, yeah. I think the rivalries could become pots. I think that would probably be fine. Because we don't draw, nothing in our deck draws cards. So there's no confliction
and
there.
Dig 6 is broken. It gets engine or it gets a Floodgate to win.
Yeah, it's probably pretty good. The only thing is like having the damage they take. But you do so much damage.
Yeah.
Everything's enormous. Yeah. That's everything.
All right, sick. Well, thank you.
Thank you.